So today, I want to share with you something that I have gone through and the lessons I've learned. How we paid our debt while being employed and running a business at the same time. So, a lot of you might have found themselves in a mountain of debt. In our case, it was about 650,000 dirhams. So if you convert that into dollars, it's about 230,000 US dollars. So how did we find ourselves in that kind of debt? Well, in 2009, I wanted to open a business, a restaurant business and a furnishing business. Because my background was in interior design. And then we were excited because a mall was going to open that time, and they had an area dedicated for Filipinos, and I really wanted to promote Filipino brands across the world. So I said, like, I booked two small slots, spaces, two shops, and then the banks then that time did not require a lot of documents. Being employed with a salary of 6,000 was enough for them, and they gave me 250,000. My husband was also employed that time. They also allowed him to borrow 250,000 dirhams, and we have about 50,000 dirhams of savings. And then when we presented, because we were so excited, this was an opportunity of a lifetime for us. We're going to open a business. We were excited, shared it with our friends, and our colleagues said, like, we want to invest there too and have a share of that business. So we were able to collect about 650,000 total of investment money to open that business. Well, my old landlady heard about this plan because I kept in touch with her, and she said, you know what, I want to be partners of your business. I will invest 250,000 as well. Well, that will be a big help for the business, the new business that we're going to open. Because number one, she was, maybe you'll now know the clues of her identity. I will not reveal it here. She was an accountant, an experienced accountant. She had a company that was connected with logistics, with shipping items. So I thought it was going to be helpful. So we had signed her on. We said, like, you'll be a great business partner. I don't have a lot of background with accounting, with money. So she'll be a great help. So that's what we did. Meanwhile, she said, like, you know what, we have the money right now, but the space isn't going to be handed over till a certain date. So why don't I keep the money? I'll give you a post-dated check. And then once the space is ready, once we start buying the items, once we start importing the items, then let's release the fund. Trusted her, but I should have not. Guess what? She ran away with that money, and we were left with 600,000 dirhams in debt. So after 5 years, we were able to pay that off. 2009 and 2014, we were able to pay back our loan from the bank. So how did we do it? So our salaries back then were combined 11,000. I had to pay the bank 13,000. So then we have negative money for our expenses, for basic needs. And then I found myself pregnant. So it was really, really, like, it was God's hand that helped us pay up the loan. But what did we do for us to survive that time? Emotions apart, of course, I went through a lot of anxiety and depression. But after accepting the fact that, yes, I won't get the money back, I said, I won my face and said, let's get it on. So first things first, cut off your expenses. So we moved out into a sharing home and lived in a smaller home. So to cut back our expenses, we had to pay lesser rent. We also looked into saving, so we made carpooling. So we looked at the expenses. We talked to our families. We said we couldn't send money for this time period. We are in the middle under a big amount of debt. So looking at the expenses that we have and reviewing where we spend a lot, we had to cut back on things that we really don't need, and we just spend on the basics. So that's very important when you're paying off debt. There's no money for luxury. There's not enough money for other things. You know, leisure can be simple things. You can enjoy life with simple things. That's the important thing, actually. That's something that I learned, that you can find joy in simple things. You can romanticize life and find joy in the mundane things. You don't have to go on a grand vacation, on a luxurious trip for you to enjoy life. Tip number 2 is to manage your time. So we were employed, but during that time, we also managed to do our photography as a side hustle. So how did we manage shooting on weekends, editing after work, and working 9 to 5? So finding the balance of how many shoots can we accept, because we also needed to rest and recharge. Otherwise, we'll burn out and we cannot sustain that kind of lifestyle. So making sure that you're mentally ready and you're physically ready to subject your schedule and your body to that kind of hustle. So 9 to 5, we go to work, and then on weekends, we book birthdays, which is a couple of hour shoot. Very rarely we had a whole day shoot, but we were able to have shoots almost every weekend and have them edited on during night times, which doesn't really take a lot of time. But we are really blessed to have clients who have trusted us, have a family shoot at the park, have birthday shoots, and even weddings. In 2009 as well, where we were able, when we got into that mess of ADEPT, we were able to shoot weddings in India, which really helped us a lot. So mentally ready to subject yourselves into hustle. So because when you're paying debt, especially when your salary is not enough, or if you want, maybe let's say you're not in some kind of debt like we were. Maybe you just want extra money for your, vacation, or for a gadget that you want to buy. Then you have to be mentally and physically ready to accept the challenge of really hustling. Number 3, when you feel the hustle, when you get used to the hustle, it actually takes you out of your comfort zone and you become more resilient. So number 3 is prepare yourself by learning how to hustle, learning how to do business on the side. So one thing that helped me do side hustle and learning how to charge, how to do customer service. I read so many books. I followed a lot of business gurus online, and you have to learn to discern the things, what you can apply to your side hustle. We had our equal share of clients who did not pay us. We had equal share of clients who were really difficult, but learning while you're hustling is very important. Documenting your mistakes, documenting those things is very important. Learning how to send an invoice, learning how to send an email, a professional email, learning to market your side hustle without learning to market your side hustle that doesn't conflict with your full-time employment. So that's one thing that has helped us a lot, is that our side hustle did not clash with our full-time employment, and we did our side hustles on the weekends and after work. So it did not affect my full-time employment job. In fact, during my employment time, in 2009 and in 2010, I got promoted. And then in 2010, at the same time, I was hired in another company as an area visual merchandiser. So the jump that, working faithfully to what you're committed to. So I was committed to my work, and I did not shortchange my employers. Was very important that I worked with integrity, even though I was hustling over the weekend, but I still gave 100% here in my work. So that was very important. You know why? Because my first clients, when I quit my full-time employment, my first clients were my previous bosses. So that's very important. That's tip number 4. Learn to build connections. We live in a connected world. Your old boss, your old clients can help you build better connections that will help you with your side hustle or your business. So whenever you have, if you're right now employed and you're thinking of doing a side hustle, make sure you still work with integrity, because you'll never know that the connections you have in your current employment, your bosses, your managers, your colleagues will be your future clients. So it's really good that you work with them with honesty, respect, and integrity. And lastly, which is most important, is to trust God in the process. Have faith. There were days really that I wanted to give up. I wanted to just throw in the towel and say like, God, this is just so hard, you know? And then I said like, when will it end? We were paying the banks and it's just like, you know, money trickling out of our pockets, not even trickling, like pouring out of our pockets, you know, we're working hard, hustling, but the money, they all just go to the bank because we're paying a debt that, you know, we did not even use that money. So you will lose your motivation, you will be disappointed, you'll get depressed, you'll get tired, burned out. But if you trust God in the process and have faith and trust that His plans are better than yours, will help you keep going. So walk in faith and have a prayerful day, like a day full of prayer. Start your day with prayer, end your day with prayer, and just surrender everything and do your best. Because that happened, we get to open the Melrose Studio. We get to start the Melrose Studio, and we get to shoot so many weddings and so many videos, so many stories. And it's amazing when you see how God's plan is different than yours. We plan to open a furniture business, but He said like, you know what? This is my plan for you, and you just trust the process, just trust me. That's amazing. So I hope you found value in this video. If you did, hit the like button and do subscribe for more. Ciao!